Hi, I'm Matt Harrison. A couple of years ago, I visited Geneva. I believe it's St. Peter's Cathedral in Geneva, where John Calvin was pastor. And if you go to that church, you will find in this magnificent medieval space an elimination of virtually all statues, all crucifixes, any iconography. It's all gone. That's because the Reformed tradition believed that somehow this kind of art was a violation of the Lord's commandment that you shall not create an graven image. The Lutherans understood that that part of the Old Testament command was a ceremonial law, and especially applied to making a graven image to worship, as though you're making an image to worship God. But it does not apply to the depiction of Christ, God, the saints, etc. in art. The Lutheran view is a complete affirmation of God's first article, the article of creation, an affirmation of the arts. And so great Lutheran churches always have statuary, beginning right with a crucifix on the altar. We are here at one of the greatest sanctuaries in the Missouri Synod, if not the greatest. This is Historic Trinity in downtown Detroit, where Pastor Eberhard is pastor. You see on the altar the magnificent crucifix. This church was built in the 1930s. Behind him, the apostles are depicted at Pentecost. Fantastic picture of the apostles, all of them. We preach Christ crucified, the one who remains the crucified one. It's a participle there, an imperfect participle. The crucifixion happened, and he remains forever, the crucified one who is also risen. Everywhere you turn in the sanctuary, you see iconography, you see statuary, you see things that take your mind up to heaven. From the pulpit, which has this magnificent pulpit, which has apostles and prophets around it, Luther's rose. You've got St. Peter and the apostles depicted over here on the lectern. On the sides of, right up here, you have the various houses of the princes who signed the Augsburg Confession, surrounding these organ pipes mounted in the front of the church. Of course, in the ceiling, you have the cherubs, the angels and archangels rejoicing with trump in hand about the sacrament, that moment in worship where heaven and earth are joined when we receive Christ's body and blood. I would just say this. Before you build a new church, or if you're thinking about upgrading your church, remember that the Lutheran tradition of architecture and art was seriously cut back, especially when we moved from German to English, and especially in America, where people believed that somehow Roman Catholicism was bad, and we wanted to disassociate ourselves from anything that looked Roman Catholic. In doing so, we lost things that Lutherans have always treasured, like a crucifix. Luther said, thank God the Roman Catholics still have a crucifix, and that they put it in front of people who are dying to know that Jesus died for their sins. Before you build a church, come here to Trinity. Take a look around. This place causes you right away, causes you your thoughts to transcend. It tells you divine things are happening here. Divine gifts are given. The gospel is given. And you're sent out to serve.